Good morning. Good morning. And Sonya, I think yours is on mute. Okay, I think she's wrapping up some. But welcome to this week's of Access Denied. Thank you guys for giving us a week off as we focused on our retreat internally and externally. We got a lot to talk about. Go ahead and start checking in with us. Let us know that you're here. Good morning. But Sonya just wanted to check in with you and then see how's your week been going.
Good morning. I've been having some technical difficulties this morning, so I'm like working from my iPad, and it is like always a
Yeah.
challenge for me. But good morning
Good
to you all.
morning.
Sorry, I was disengaged. I was actually on an important phone call with some big news to
Okay.
come
Okay.
really soon. So yeah, I'm kind of thrown off because I wasn't expecting the phone call, nor was I expecting what I heard on the other side of it. But hello, my week is it's going. I am surviving. I'm surviving. I'm not gonna give up.
Yep.
I'm relentless. And I'm just gonna say this: stop me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'll say this week has been, yeah, between Monday Night Football, everything that was going on Tuesday, and then today jumping back on Access Denied. I can say it's been a good week. I know report cards have come out. We'll talk about that a little bit. Want to give a shout out to all of our parents that jumped on our campaign call last night. Had a little bit over 30. You guys were engaged, and we ended with a really strong prayer that really excited my soul from one of our alum, Miss Denai Lowe. So, Denai, if you listen, appreciate that. I see Scott is on here. Scott was on there last night giving commentary. So, thank you guys. But yeah, we got some things to talk about. And so one of the things that we missed last week, we'll go over a few articles that are on the Tennessean. Got a Chalkbeat article. We got a Fox 17 article. Definitely want to check in with parents and listen to you guys. I know report cards have been coming out, so we want to get your experience and your feedback on the report cards that have come. And then we just got a couple of more things we want to talk about that are coming up at the end of the month that we're going to be doing as a team. Let's see. Let me pull this through. Dun, dun, dun. So check in with us. Let us know. Let us know about report cards. Have you received the report cards? What do you think about the report cards? And just give us some feedback. We had one of our parents last night who talked about. I mean, she was passionate. She talked about getting the report cards. The report cards looked really good. I think she said it was all A's, but a big red flag is we're talking about red flags now in the world on social media is that our kids had missed 20 days of school and really didn't get an opportunity to do work at home. And so she was trying to figure out how did they get an A. And we had a lively discussion about that.
Yeah. Mr. Priest said no report card yet. I guess I think my question for parents is how much weight do you put into the report
Mm-hmm.
card? You know what you see. You know if the nothing's coming home, there's no homework being done. Um, if your child can't tell you what they did that day, like I learned the hard way about the report card thing. And I sure never want another parent to feel the way that I felt when I found out that my son was not getting what he needed or he deserved. And how much weight do you guys put in a report card? What's important to you? I think we're going to look at that Fox 17
Mm-hmm.
um, um, clip, and there's a couple of things in there that I want to discuss, and I think it really like helps us to form this and guide this conversation about report card test scores and those types of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, yeah, definitely keep us posted. So one of the things connected to the report cards, since we didn't get a chance to do access denied last week, I want to play a clip of Fox 17, which all has us with a lot of questions around, what's going on. And as one of our cousins in St. Louis say, she says, make it make sense. And so we'll play this video and then we'll listen to you guys and we'll see if it makes any sense and we'll get some good feedback. Let's see. All right, here we go. All right.
Is it my grandson?
Challenging times are nothing new. Neither are resilient people. There's strength in every family story. Learn more about yours at Ancestry.
A Nashville elementary school is on the state's underperforming school list for years. Well, it's now in the clear, but the news is not necessarily good. That's because student test scores did not improve. Fox 17 News' Jackie Del Pilar at Rosebank Elementary in East Nashville now to explain how that happened.
The priority schools list is composed of the bottom achieving 5% of schools in the state. It's based on a number of factors, including test scores and graduation rates. So I asked school leaders, how did this school come off this list with lower TCAP scores? Rosebank Elementary School now off the list of priority schools. Getting off the list means the school has improved. But take a look at these TCAP scores, and you'll find Rosebank's test scores went down. It shows just 13% of students are reading proficiently, and about 8% are proficient in math. A spokesperson with the district says the school got off the list because although their scores dropped, they performed better than 15% of other schools in the state, meaning their scores may not have gotten better, but hundreds of other schools did worse.
I don't think that there's ever a time that we should be celebrating 13% of students in a school reading on grade level or on their way to being proficient.
Parent Sonia Thomas leads the Propel organization that advocates for low-performing schools in Nashville.
This was nothing to celebrate. This was actually something to mourn and to grieve.
Rosebanks was first added to the priority list in 2017. The district says the school was then awarded grants and rebranded as a STEAM magnet school to help improve student performance. Rosebank parent Cree Taylor says she's seen those improvements firsthand and says the school's growth goes beyond the test scores.
When I saw that somebody said, like, they finally came off with it, I'm like, that doesn't matter. Rosebank is an amazing school, and I would stand behind that 100%.
7 other schools across the state also came off the list. 5 of those 7 had lower test scores in at least one subject. Coming off of the list is recognized as a positive thing for the schools, but there is a downside. Schools could now miss out on potential funding that's earmarked for priority schools. Reporting in Nashville, I'm Jackie Del Pilar with Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All righty, and Sonia, I know you did part of that interview, and just you want to kind of talk about how it came about and just your sentiment where we are now on it.
So the conversation has been around test scores, actually a national conversation. And I want to go there because there are some states, such as Texas, so on and so forth, who have been talking about doing away with test scores. Doing away with standardized testing, which would eliminate test scores. And I want to talk about that a little bit for parents so you'll understand. Because as you can see, there's a parent that also did a response on there. And we work for parents. We're parent-led, we're parent organized. But I want to point out a couple of things, because one of the biggest things for me is making sure that we're fully informed. Making sure that we understand. And we understand, as my friend Thomas says, that we understand what's going on. And so Rosebanks came off of the priority school list. 13% of their children showed growth or proficiency or on track to. That means 87% of those students, 87% of the students in that school are not reading on grade level. 87%. I'm gonna say it again. That means 87% of the students in that school building don't know how to read. And so we have to ask ourselves, and God bless that mama. She said that she would stand by that being a great school. And God bless you. But what makes a great school is if my children can read.
Yeah, and that's the hard part too. And when I looked at Miss Taylor, I mean, she had excitement, and that's what you need in the school. But then I have to ask myself as a parent, who's laughing when my child walks across the stage with a diploma and can't read, can't write, can't really go anywhere to get a job? What am I saying then? And then by that time, it's too late. And so I know sometimes it can seem harsh, but we're not only looking at this year. We're not only looking at last year or 3. We're looking at what's in the foreseeable future. And what the results say, we don't get better with educating our kids as they grow older.
And I'm sorry, but my question to each and every one of you, and this may seem a little harsh, but I like to ask the hard questions. I ask the hard questions because we should question everything and everybody, and we got to find truth. When you find truth, it sets you free. And my question to anybody out there, is it enough? Is it enough for everybody in the school to be nice and to be a great school because everybody's nice? But 87% of the kids in there can't read, can't write. Is that enough? Like, why is it that we compromise on what should happen in the building? And it's because we don't know any better.
Right.
And I'm not saying that this parent
right, it ain't personal.
or trying to devalue her. She just doesn't understand. And the thing is, her child may be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Her child
may be part of the 13%.
Part of the 13%.
Mm-hmm.
But is that enough?
No. And that's what I tell people. Like, it's always going to be those outliers of the kids who are like thriving. Like, the school could be burning up and they are like as cool as a cucumber. And what we got to say is not just about our kids, it's about every other kid. And so when you look at that and you say, I mean, the big question for me, Sonya, was not even the scores. I think when we were talking with the parents last night, it was, how do you celebrate, right? Not even take them off. How do you create a presentation that walks you through the interventions you did, the success you had, and then you look back and it was a disclaimer in there. It said some schools came off the list because other schools did worse. And so I just think it's disingenuous to celebrate something that's just untrue.
I said it the other day, and I'm going to say it again. This is something to grieve and something to mourn. And I be damned if I'm going to let Dr. Battle, the school board, and anybody look at parents in their face.
Yep.
And tell them this was worth celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
This was a stain. This is a stain. This is about low expectations and poor instruction. If that's all we can do, and we're talking about pre-COVID, it was 15%.
Mm-hmm. 15% pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID, 15% of the students. So let's stop blaming COVID for things, right? This was nothing to celebrate. Mm-hmm. This right here, she got some 4-5.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we even have a school system when 87% of children? And wait a minute. This is not. Wait a minute. This is not the worst score. Mm-hmm. This is just the one being talked about because the reason why it's being talked about because everybody else is scratching their head going, how the hell did that happen? Mm-hmm. That's why it's news.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's news.
Yeah. And I see Miss Lindsay jumped on. Miss Lindsay was the parent last night who said, I saw the report card. I'm confused. Make it make sense. And I think in our school system, I see Ms. Marshall saying, you know, they for the first time at their child's school, they're offering tutoring for math and English, but I'm disturbed not even to know my child's progress. And we gotta watch out, right? So as when we were kids, when we did something wrong, we tried to do a quick fix, right? So we'll be like, okay, I broke the vase. All right, let me try to glue this thing together. Let me try to fix it where it don't look broke. But at the end of the day, it's broke, right? With even the offering of tutoring, we don't even realize if it's even working because we're not talking about it. We're saying, okay, you want tutoring? Here go tutoring. What is really tutoring though? Like what is the kid getting? Is the kid growing academically? And I think those are the questions like we're looking for, not just the stopgap problem solvers that people put in.
She says no access, no progress reports, no login access. I'm not understanding that. We got a whole student dashboard.
Personalized
So,
student dashboard.
personalized student dashboard. Infinite Campus that we've been having for years.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm calling that shit out.
Mhm.
Infinite Campus been there since 2012 or before. Because my son had it. When I heard that, I was like, wait a minute, that's the same thing that Jordan them had when he was at Hunter's Lane.
Mhm.
But anyway, I ain't gonna go into that. I'm just gonna say this. There are schools in this district that have more than 90% of their children not reading on grade level.
Which is a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah. One of them is Inglewood Elementary.
Yeah. And that was another one of the schools that was up there. And I had to apologize to the parents on the call last night because I celebrated. I was like, oh, like when you got a whole presentation that you come before the board on how you exited off the priority list, and then you go back and realize the scores went down, and that's nothing that you should celebrate. I mean, it's kind of like snake oil. Like it's oh, this is what we did. We had this intervention, but in reality, it went backwards.
It did. And you celebrate that stuff when you ain't really got nothing to celebrate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Just making stuff up. Just and people biting it. Like,
Yeah.
but not for long because
Yep.
I'm gonna tell, and I'm invite everybody on the side of my voice. I'm telling it. There's a church song. I've got to tell it. I'm telling it everywhere I go.
Mhm.
Everywhere I go, I'm telling it. Stop
Mm-hmm.
me. Stop me.
Mm.
I might put me some yard signs out here
Mm-hmm.
in my yard. Every time somebody ride past here, even the peoples.
Miss Harris says she's been wearing this Infinite Parent app out. The teacher's not responding. Need to reach out.
Really? Who else been wearing it out and ain't responding?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. And then Candace says participation trophies. That's what some kids' grades are. My son got the wrong answers on some of his homework, went over with him, and he turns it in and all 100s. I know some of his answers are wrong. I'm there every day going over the answers with him. And what Candace is doing, she's just trying to figure out, are they really even looking at it?
That's not the first parent I done heard say that. I've heard other parents say, I know it's wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sending it in to see what they do.
Mm.
So, here go another parent, saying the same thing. And, I'm trying to keep my mouth clean, but I have nothing good to say. And I think I and everybody else have a right to be angry and pissed off. Like, people get angry and pissed off about stuff all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and they swear and they say curse words. And this is one that I say it in front of a pastor,
Mm-hmm.
because it's that sick. It deserves the anger. It deserves it.
Yeah. And Scott talks about, last night on the call, he talked about sending his kid to a school that historically has been a really good school academically. It was deemed a magnet school. And as he looked at the results when we were doing the Chalkbeat article, he realized that that's not the case anymore. And I just think, we have some opportunities, we have some possibilities, but I think when we have the information, like, that's when we need to start acting on it. And I think, parents on here are already doing it, right? But how do we grow to really focus and just stop it? Like, because this is something that's not just happening at Rosebank and Inglewood, right? We know this is happening everywhere.
Man, public education has become the biggest heist I've ever seen in my life. I know what a heist is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, go deep. Okay, I see you.
It's the biggest heist. I'm trying to think of a movie like Set It Off, like
You set it off.
like when they went to go steal that money off of them armored trucks. It's the biggest ripoff I ever seen in my life. For people to be able to say that they're gonna do something and never do it, and get money for it, get jobs, get accolades, celebrate, lie, betray, and in some cases commit crimes against children. And it's the biggest heist I ever seen. It's the biggest criminal act, because I even think that it has some homicide in it, and some genocide. And I'm saying this, and I ain't playing with nobody about this, man. I mean it. I mean every word I'm saying, man. Their kids losing their life. I done seen it for myself. I done seen kids die. So can't nobody shut me up about this, John. You know.
Yeah.
I done seen kids lose their freaking lives. And you want to celebrate? I celebrate when some of these folks go to jail in handcuffs.
Right.
That's
right.
the celebration I want. That's the justice I want. I don't care how nice you are. Your Gucci bags and your Mercedes Benz. Hair all flipped up and looking good. I don't care how nice you are to my child. You're going to be nice and you're going to educate my child. I'm sorry. But when I sit and I think about the repercussion of 13% of children, this ain't even saying they on grade level. This could be that they on track. Like, this is not a comparison around the country.
Right.
We're talking amongst their peers, inside their building, in their district. And if everybody is doing bad, do you really have a 13% that's doing okay, John? Do you really?
So one of the things I want to go to, and I think this is what Candace said. Candace says, I still can't get an education assistant for my son when MNPS just got $57 million for special needs kids. And part of what we have been going over, there was a poll released. And it was an interesting point about the poll, because when you talk about the heist and you talk about Set It Off and the Netflix show Money Heist, like, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. And I would even call it new age slavery. And so and I don't know if you guys see this, but the article says poll satisfaction for Nashville Public School falters. Most believe the city does not prioritize youth. And I'm going to just read a couple of excerpts. It says, showed that 45% of respondents said the quality of Metro Nashville Public Schools worsened over the last 5 years. Meanwhile, just 10% said quality has improved, while 29% said stayed about the same, and the remainder did not know. And so I'm going to keep going. It says the poll also showed that 64% of respondents do not believe the city prioritizes children and youth. That sentiment spans all demographics according to NPEF. And so here go the numbers, right? It said respondents weighed in on everything from school performance and funding to mass mandates, critical race theory. And here's how some of the numbers broke down. 72% said teachers are underpaid. 66% said education funding is somewhat or much too low. 66% also said they believe schools are underfunded, and 49% said public schools are not adequately serving students from disadvantaged communities. And I go back, I always say, I wish they would have asked this question. I wish they would have asked, do you know what the school budget is? Because if you know, I don't think you would be saying the schools are underfunded. I don't think if you knew that Nashville teachers were some of the highest paid or the highest paid in the state. And it's an education thing, and it just goes back to Candace's comment. 57 million for special kids, and I can't get a education assistant for my son. 57 million.
So I told you guys I got a phone call before I got on here. We got a meeting next week with the education commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I say me,
Mm-hmm.
you, everybody on the side. I'm looking. I can't see y'all. Candace, Nevaeh, Miss Marshall. I can't see on this.
No,
this.
We got
screen that I
Keisha, Scott, Rhea, Thomas. We got the priest, which is Miss Harris.
Call everybody that was on the call last night.
Mm-hmm.
We got a meeting next week, next Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have the details. City of Nashville, the Department of Education and Nashville Propel will be hosting a meeting next week, and we will get those details. But it's all related to all this jibber jabber that around funding. But we're gonna talk about that. We're going to talk about that. So mark your calendars, clear your afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I said something to them about timing because they just called me today. So they got a whole mouthful. Y'all know I don't pull us back on nobody. So be looking for that information in the press, and our parents, we will get something out to you guys in the next 24 hours. Via text message. Is that okay, John?
Yep, that works. And I know Keisha just said, what's the problem in order to get it? It's obvious. It's not the money. We want to talk about it. And I see Shamise on here. She's saying good morning. I know Shamise has made a call through social media as a math tutor to do free services for parents who have kids in the 37208. And so if you need math tutoring, Shamise is one of the go-to people for tutoring services that you can reach out to.
So she asked, what's the problem if it's not money? It is poor instruction and low expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Point blank. There's no other way to put it. That is the solution, is to make sure that the children have excellent instruction. Like, you got to make sure they have excellent instruction, and if you got to set the expectations high. And that's around people, that's around individual children, that's around content, that's around tutoring, setting the expectations high and being intentional about that. There's no doubt in my mind that you won't see the academic achievement that you need to see.
Yep, because we done seen it before. We done seen it as Black people grew and rose up. And we also see it even with new Americans who are coming into this country. You know, they have a individualized learning plan. They focus on their deficits, and these kids are outperforming the kids who are already been living here. But it's a focus on them. It's an obligation. It's a commitment. It's policy. And that policy shows time after time when you look at the numbers that it works. But again, we got to go back to it. It has to be a commitment. It's not just about getting the money and saying I'll see you next year because you know the money is coming right back.
And it's not about saying, well, other people did worse than me.
Right.
How does that come out of that PR person? Who was that? Sean?
Mm-hmm.
You suck. Yeah, I said it. Roll up on me. How does anybody say that? They did worse. They did worse than, you know what? I think everybody in the whole district should be fired.
Mm-hmm.
If that is the mindset that's being led with, I'm calling for jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I want your job. I mean that.
But I think it has to be like just that demand as we talk about. Like there's some schools who are in the priority school, and Torvis looked this up last night. So it's about 15. It was either 13 or 1,500 schools across the state. So meaning it was 85 to 89 schools that would qualify to be in the bottom 5%. And we started with 21 in Nashville, and none of those schools that exited the list have done any better. You know, Lillard was shut down.
They don't
Buena
have
Vista
to.
shut down. Right.
They don't have to. They don't have to do any better, John.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Swain, if you're listening, the schools are not getting better because they don't have to get better. Because everybody's going to travel around the state of Tennessee and say, you know, teachers are doing great. They're rock stars. And, you know, they're doing great. The children are working hard. I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you got poor instruction, when you got low expectations, the adults, and it is not an attack on teachers.
Right.
It's an attack on the system.
Yep.
Because a lot of the teachers will tell you that they're not even allowed to even teach what needs to be taught.
Right. There's not anything. This is a systemic issue.
Yeah.
There's way higher than the teachers.
Yeah, like that's why you don't hear me like crapping on teachers, because I don't think it's a teacher problem. Now, I mean, you got just like you got bad doctors and bad lawyers, and you know I don't work with some nurses that was trifling, that didn't need to be taking care of patients, and I talked about them too, just like I talk about everybody has been like this since '75. Anyway, I say that to say we don't have a teacher problem. We have an expectation. We have a poor instruction problem. We got a system failure. We got a system where we got all these people making $250,000.
Heist.
Mm-hmm. Poor the salaries.
Mm-hmm.
These folks making $250,000. They make just as much as a house.
Mm-hmm.
A house that ain't even new costs. They could buy a whole house in these streets.
Mm-hmm.
What they 1 year salary. Heist.
The heist is real, and Jessica Owens said, "Yep, they don't let them teach." I mean, that's what we know. And again, divide and conquer is a strong drug. Divide and conquer says we're gonna always pit people against each other, so they never really look at the villain itself. And the villain itself is a system. The villain itself is a school system. It's not the kids in the school system. It's not the teachers. Somebody posted something about some parents. He a teacher in the school, and I'm like, bro, it's not parents like it ain't teachers. Like with a low expectation environment, it puts you in a situation where if I don't got to rise to the occasion, I told him, I was like, you were highlighted for going above and beyond, right, in your work. You were highlighted, and you said yourself that all the teachers in the school don't bring the same commitment as you. But then again, that's leadership. But why aren't they held? If you notice it, they notice it.
Yeah. And I think teachers should jump on board with us.
Right.
Like everything we saying, foundation, a lot of the teachers believe in what we're saying. When they get past their feelings and realize I'm just gonna say it, John. I don't give a care. Once they get past their feelings and realize, I ain't talking to you.
I ain't talking to you. Right.
They're like, oh, you ain't talking about me. Well, yeah, I agree with you.
Right.
Yeah, I ain't talking about you. You can't change nothing. You don't have the power to change it. I'm talking to the people.
That's not the way the system was created. The system was created top down.
Top down.
From the policy at the state, or maybe even the policy on the federal government that goes to the state, that goes to the local school district, that's given to the executive directors over clusters, that's then given to the principals, and then the principals give it to the teachers, and the teachers try to remember it and give it to the students.
And it's just like gossip. If I whisper something,
Yep.
By the time it gets to the teachers, personalized student dashboard,
Yep.
it ain't what you said it was gonna be, Dr. Battle. I promise you. Call up a teacher, ask them about the personalized student dashboard. They're gonna watch what they tell you. Hell, they don't know. Hell, some of them I told them.
Look at Miss Harris. She said she's been wearing it out. Teachers not responding.
No, they don't even know what it is.
It's come from the top, like you said. It's the gossip thing. If you sit in the circle, by the time it reaches back, it's something totally different.
What they be saying in that school board, presenting stuff. It don't it's not, when I say it doesn't translate, maybe I need to find another word, but it doesn't translate to the school the same. PLT, personalized learning time, it ain't getting to the school like you said. Tutoring ain't getting to the school like you saying that it's happening. It's not happening the way that you putting it on that fancy ass PowerPoint. It ain't getting to our kids.
So as we see that, and again, that poll, they said the poll continues to get worse. And I'll tell you, that poll is not even coming in our community, right? So that's not anything that's coming in 37208.
But we're gonna do our own stuff. Forget y'all. We did one a couple of weeks ago, told the truth. We don't never see none of these polls. I'm like, who the hell taking these polls?
But that's the sad thing, right? But 49% of those people who took it believe that the school system is not adequately serving students from disadvantaged communities.
Oh, what I hear you saying is
they know.
It's getting around.
They know. Yeah, they know. They like, wait a minute, that ain't good. Like, whatever y'all giving them definitely is not good enough for us. And not only is not good enough, we finally gonna say something. Because man, it's gotten out of control. It said last spring, MNPS handed out, the $1,000 bonuses from the COVID relief. And the mayor also announced $50 million to increase teacher pay and stabilize the salary scale at MNPS. And so all of it is like when you hear people complain when they talk about the funding, like they're doing something right. They're like, oh, funding sucks. We agree. Let's do something about it. What we're asking as parents and stakeholders in the system, the academics suck. Like, what are we going to do about that? We talked about the money.
Nothing. I can answer that. Nothing. You want me to spell nothing? Yes, little kids, what you doing? Nothing. Look, I can remember us asking Dr. Joseph's administration, asking Dr. Batter's administration. We still ain't got no answer.
What's the plan? Yeah.
The only plans we get is, Dr. Griffin did this whole presentation. It was really about closing down schools, consolidation,
and saving money.
Yeah, and she talks. Sometimes I would let people talk stupid to me. So I'm gonna let you do your whole stupidity talk to me, because I'm gonna get you. Consolidate schools because it's not enough enrollment. No, it's consolidate schools because those schools were about to be taken over by the state. That's the real reason why. But I'm gonna let y'all have y'all's heyday and talk that stupid stuff, because it's gonna come out in the wash.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna come out in the wash. Why? Because we're developing parents to get an understanding of what's really going on. So I'm it's not enough time sometimes to deal with foolishness. You just let them do that while y'all over there doing that, we over here doing this. That's what we're gonna make sure they understand the real deal. They know what closes a school and who takes over school and what a good school looks like, what a poor school, and what the system looks like.
And when we saw Inglewood, those results were even worse. I would always ask, why wouldn't they consolidate Inglewood with Dan Mills? And if you're from East Nashville, I mean, I don't even gotta
make me laugh.
Right.
Answer that for real. Not gonna answer.
Yeah, it's a race issue. When you look at 37216 by Inglewood and you look at 37216 by Dan Mills, they ain't gonna allow that to happen. They ain't gonna allow those kids from Panorama and all the places that are gentrified to come 3 miles down the street to attend Dan Mills.
Oh, but I done heard the Dan Mills parents say they can't get their IEP services right over there. It's a system failure, man. The system does not work. It does not work. It never will. Oh, I said it. Truth, Sarah. It don't work. It never will. I don't care how much money you throw at it. It's like throwing a cup of water on a house fire.
Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna throw 100 cups.
One. Just throw one. It ain't gonna do nothing. What you say? Throw 100.
Yep, 100.
I think it's more like when you throw gasoline on a burning house.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all, the house is on fire. Go get the gasoline. That's how they act. Just ain't got a clue. Get all this ESSA money. Doesn't even know what to do with it. Begging for money, saying if we had it, we can make it better. And then when you get it, you don't even know what to do with it. Lying. Biggest heist I ever seen in my life. That's why the chairwoman of the school board can't say that to me. Look, anybody come talk to me about needing more money, first tell me how much you need. So you got to know how much you need, right? We're underfunded. Okay, so what does underfunded look like?
Right.
So if you were fully funded, or you had the money to make sure that at least 50% of the children in the school can read on grade level, how much that costs?
Right.
In my Chris Rock voice, how much it costs for 50% of the children to read on grade level? How much that costs, John?
Right. And Ms. Offit says she worked with a teacher right now that's out a lot. They done caught the virus. Some teachers are not doing what they're supposed to do. And you just got to think, I think it goes back to one of our parents from last night that says her child has been out 20 days. I've heard some that's been out even more. And the report card was all A's. And she was just like, being transparent, like they wasn't getting everything going on. They wasn't getting the academic things they needed to at home. And so she just could not understand it. And I think it's the heist.
Let me tell you something. Y'all know the YMCA. YMCA, Planet Fitness. Those of you who have signed up, you got a membership fee, right? So
I need to go more.
I'm finna talk to y'all on the real. So my fat ass, I don't get no memberships because I ain't gonna do right. I ain't gonna do right. But there's a membership fee. They'll keep taking that out of my checking and keep blessing their own checking account, right? Growing their whole brand, they business, paying their staff, right? Even if you go, if you go, or
you don't go. Yeah, it's coming out my check.
Same things happen with school right now. Always. There's an average daily membership fee for each one of your children. Ask me how I know, because I read it. But everybody sleep. I be reading stuff. In their own they wrote it. They said it. I didn't. I ain't lying. They say I'm lying. Tell them call me out. I ain't did it yet. Average daily membership. So whether your child is in a building or in quarantine at the house, they gonna get paid. So I ain't gotta send you no worksheet. It don't matter if you ain't got no good connection on the Zoom, and they ain't supposed to be doing Zoom. I can send you a packet at home. It don't matter. I see your report card time. Y'all hear what I said? It's called the BEP. It's the formula that everybody's talking about. I know y'all hearing it. You'll hear more about it, but I want you to get an understanding. This formula is built to make sure that school systems get paid no matter what. And so then they say, well, we ain't getting paid enough. We're not getting enough. But you get paid no matter what, whether kids, whether they come in that building, especially right now in this time. Like it really rings true to COVID time, because when they're quarantined for 10 days. They're gonna still get
The money.
the money.
Yep.
Whether your teacher call and check on them, whether you ring their phone, whether your child don't understand, whether they sitting at home and you taking off work, they ain't even in the building, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And that money still gets cash. That check gets cashed. This is what we're dealing with. Let mine come home on quarantine. Y'all better put somebody on the porch and talk to them through that damn screen door.
Mm-hmm.
He better get what he need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Candace says they want that Title I money. And one of the things that I remember working in the school, our first parent meeting of the year, whatever we talked about, what we talked about first was Title I. So they can check the box, as Candace said, and that was the first thing on the agenda. And I noticed it every single year. I was like, oh, when we having a parent meeting, I was like, oh man, that's awesome. Like we talking about parent engagement. I was pumped.
Math night.
Hey,
we gonna have math night and spaghetti. Woo! The first time I went there, I said, and then they asked you to bring the spaghetti.
come on now. They just need them responses.
Then you bring the spaghetti. They ain't even paying for the spaghetti and get all that money. And they want to have math. Is that what you talking about, John? Math night.
Yep, math night. Yep. And this is something as we're wrapping up, and I know Alita, she put this on her. She was like looking for an anti-bullying program, and so that's one thing that we're trying to figure out as an org. We know bullying has jumped up as well, and so you just look at all these issues, and we talk about social emotional learning, like the millions they put into it.
She said my son was injured at school. Meet me at the school Thursday, Lita, at 9:00.
Yeah.
Who else rolling?
Yeah. Let me know.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna start right here, because we got to talk about what parents care about. Several years ago, my daughter was bullied at Martin Luther King Magnet School. She was bullied, started in the 7th grade by this same young lady. And she continued to bully my daughter up until 9th grade at Martin Luther King Magnet School. I had been reporting it, calling, all of those things. And the principal that was there at that time said that she was addressing it. But what I found out in 9th grade was they were not documented. So in 9th grade, when it got worse, I went up to the school and found out it was not being documented. It was as if I was reporting it for the first time. And by that time, it gotten physical, to where I had to involve the SRO office, Officer Crystal, that was there. Mm-hmm. So when she had to watch my daughter, this is how bad this girl was bullying my daughter. So I got everything documented and everything. And the officer was watching. I was going through the process, and then the girl didn't stop. They have a whole bully, like the state of Tennessee several years ago wrote this whole bullying policy that is huge. And so if you haven't gotten a call back, let me show you how to get something done for your son.
Mm-hmm.
This child, and I do not like the school to prison pipeline. This child was the child of a pastor, a prominent pastor in this city. I ain't lying. And so let's fast forward to 2 years ago, driving in my car.
Mm-hmm.
See, I got the girl prosecuted. She left my daughter alone, got my daughter some help. But let's fast forward to 2 years ago, where elementary school committed this kid in Metro Nashville Public School.
Yep.
Killed herself from being bullied. John remember because I called him screaming and crying.
Yep. Yep.
And I felt like hell because I fixed my problem. And I left her over there with the same. That's why we got to build a movement.
Mm-hmm. No stopgap.
And we got to fight it together, because while we're fixing our own individual child's problem in our school, or think we are, then what's happening is in another school across town, somebody else is being bullied.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are a parent who's being bullied as child, let's all get together and put a stop to it, because you can't do it by yourself.
Yeah.
So please, John, reach out to Lita. Let's go Thursday, Lita, if you have a chance, and any other parents that can meet us up there. I'm not sure what school. I know you have 2 boys. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, it's a system failure.
Mm. And so as we get ready to wrap up, and Lita, I'll shoot you a text message once we're finished. The last thing we want to talk about and highlight is our event at the end of the month. An opportunity to celebrate, an opportunity to fellowship. And as Keisha Marshall talked about, building that village. I'm a look for the flyer. But did you want to talk about that, Sonia?
Yeah, so we're gonna have a trunk or treat for our kids. The location is being confirmed, and we'll send it out. It's gonna be in the McFerrin area, and we will have candy for the kids, dress them up.
Mm-hmm.
We want to make sure they have a safe environment. We want to also meet the parents.
Yep.
In the neighborhood, meet them where they are, let them know we're here. And so we're asking all of our alumni to decorate your trunk, reach out to your organizer to sign up, decorate your trunk. We'll provide the candy. We're going to provide all the candy for everybody's trunk. So we don't want you even worry about that. If you could just decorate your trunk, we're gonna have all the candy for the kids. I'm gonna dress up. John, you dressing up?
I'm dressing up. Yeah, I got a costume party that Friday. So I'm just gonna, keep that train moving. And that's why we wanted to do it too on Halloween. It's from 2 to 5. But we wanted to because Halloween is on a Sunday this year. The next day is school. Yeah, we wanted to provide, because parents are confused. Do we go Saturday? Do we go Sunday? Come to this event, fellowship with us. We'll continue to build this village. We'll do outreach in the community. But it'll be from 2 to 5, and I will have my costume on.
Yeah, it's gonna be social distance, so
Mm-hmm.
we'll have it packaged up to where it's safe, so you don't have to worry about that. Wear your mask.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'm sorry.
Double mask if you need to.
I love that video. Wear your mask. But yeah, just before it gets really cold outside, the weather's changing. We want to make sure that we have something for the kids, and all that old good stuff. So that stuff will be sent out probably by today. I think Danielle is confirming this morning. Hoping to hear back. Just want to be respectful when we're in people's neighborhoods to let the appropriate people know that we're going to be there. And shout out to the team though for a huge retreat, 3-day retreat last week. I'm telling you, I was wore out, but we got a lot of good stuff done, planning for 2022. So shout out to the team for their hard work. Shout out to the parents for continuing to build a movement. Last night, I was absent last night. I needed to rest a little bit, was a little under the weather, but I am good now. So thank you to the team for your leadership. And it's time to do this work. Be looking out, y'all. We're going to meet with Dr. Swin about the BEP next week. We'll have the location. We'll get that out to everybody and look for a media advisory on local news.
All right. Thank you guys. Again, Sheree, we'll reach out to. I know you got a few Halloween costumes, but be sure to check us out next Wednesday. We have the events that we're talking about, alumni. Be on the lookout for a call from your organizers. Cohort 11, we have the fellowship tomorrow night from 6 to 7:30. So look forward to seeing you guys on there. Ms. Moffin, I see you checking in. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 6. All right, guys.